Hello. Welcome to another video. Yeah, this time about Le Mans Ultimate and the race where I almost got into P1. I got into P1, but unfortunately I didn't finish in P1. I don't want to give too much away. It was an interesting race. I will say this, that I absolutely missed the qualifications because I was busy with other things, and I literally ran in through the door with a minute of qualifications remaining, which means I couldn't set a lap time on the Spa circuit. So I was starting from dead last on the track. Managed to fight my way with a little bit of luck through to P1, and then things unfurled, and I unfortunately lost my maiden Le Mans Ultimate victory. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much details, and unfortunately I also have the original recording of the race, but I did commentate over a replay, so I hope you'll enjoy this, and I will next time be sure to set up recording even if I'm very tight on time. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look. And here we go, we start moving for the short formation. A couple of corners, not a lap. For the Spa Aston Martin race. We are in last position after missing the qualifying, but that's okay, we're here to farm some safety rating and not fight for positions too much. On the launch, I have a very good reaction time and I'm able to squeeze past two cars immediately. And following two more and the third one at the time I exit La Source. So 5 positions made, no contact, which is absolutely perfect for the safety rating. Get a very good run through Eau Rouge and through Radion, and I'm able to move into the slipstream of the two cars ahead. But I notice the orange Aston Martin is quite defensive and aggressively defensive at being so I sensibly back out. And up ahead we have a couple of spinners, which gives us 2 more positions, and we are up into P6. At this point I'm thinking nothing of it, you know, I'll just drive behind these cars and just be careful that I don't get any unsuspected lunges from behind. Just try to stay safe and not make any aggressive mistakes. And watch the battle unfold in front of me. The orange Aston Martin in front does have his lights on, which is very distracting because it's really hard to tell when he's braking. Because the difference between lights on and brake lights are, yeah, it's very dim difference, especially in the daylight. So I have to be extra careful not to run into the back of him. And at times I maybe leave a little bit of an extra gap just for that case. But still we are able to hang on to the back of the pack in front. Although P1 does seem to be getting a little bit away with it. But at this point I am nowhere near thinking about P1. I'm just thinking about my race, my safety rating, and that's pretty much it. Show myself to the inside, and I didn't expect this to actually throw the orange Aston Martin that far off, but he decided to go for a defensive move. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a position this time. Again, an excellent run through Radion, and the orange Aston Martin in the front had a little bit of a wiggle, which means we have quite the overspeed. Starts taking a defensive move, and I was pretty aggressive through here. Almost had a contact, but managed to avoid it and managed to go around the outside into Lake Home and gain the position. So more and more as I go into this, my mind stops thinking safety rating and starts thinking fight, 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 because yeah, at the end of the day I am a sim racer and I want to fight for positions because it's fun. The fight with the orange Aston allows the green Aston Martin in front to run away a little bit with it, build a little bit of a gap. But at least the guy in front doesn't have his daylights turned on, which means I can clearly see when he's braking. I don't need to worry that much about yeah, missing the brake marker of the car in front. But still, so far, 2 laps in, no contact, a lot of positions already made, and we are up into P5. And visibly gaining on the car in front. So at this point I see that I am quicker than at least P3 and P4. But I keep reminding myself, safety rating, safety rating, safety rating. Oh, and the black and red Aston has a moment coming out of bus stop and puts him under pressure from the green Aston Martin. They go too wide into a source. Thinking at this point, oh wonderful, they're fighting. This can give me opportunity down the Camel Straight, and they are banging wheels. So at the same time, I'm also thinking, well, be careful, because apparently they're not afraid to swap paint. But again, we get an excellent run through Radeon, backed off a little bit of it early, just to maybe get a better run, and that I did. And the green Aston Martin immediately starts banging wheels with me, trying to push me off the track. So I brake a little bit early, let him back through, because I'm not willing to risk it with this guy to go too wide through the whole Lake Home section, because he is very, very aggressive while side by side. And I'm thinking, if I want to pass here, this is going to be very, very dangerous. And of course, any kind of contact, like the one we just saw on the Camel Straight, is of course detrimental to the safety rating. But I get a very good launch through No Name, and I am almost side by side. And it throws off the green Aston Martin just enough so that we get a good run through the exit of Stavelo. And luckily he brakes early this time, and we are able to slot in the ideal line and take the position. Wonderful. P4 without much contact, just a little bit of wheel banging, but nothing serious. Still so far looking good for my safety rating. No contacts, no track cuts. Sorry, a little bit of contact and no track cuts. Next target in my mind now is P3. I'm thinking, yeah, I can maybe get P3, and at the same time I notice the guys in the back fighting, which means I will be safe from behind, because as soon as 2 cars start fighting, they start losing time. And I'm hopeful that yeah, this will eliminate any chance from the cars behind making a lunge on me. And P3 in front has a very bad exit out of the source, almost loses the back end, but is able to recover, and it doesn't give me enough of an overrun, so I lift off, slot in behind, and hope I keep it tidier through Radeon and stay in the slipstream to be able to attack into Lake Home. And that's exactly what I try to do, stay in the slipstream for as long as possible, for as long as I dare, move out of the slipstream to the outside and brake as late as I dare. But this time the black and red didn't want to give it up so easily, and I had to fight it through Lake Home, which I managed to. Had a bit of a bad exit here and immediately take the defensive line, just to discourage any possible lunges to the inside. I take the defensive line and I'm clear. through no name, and we are good. Although the car behind is still very close, I still don't know how aggressive he's going to be at trying to retake the last podium position. But I do start building the gap to him rather quickly. And at this point my mind is in, okay, I'm in the clear, I'm good. P3, it's a podium from last position. What more do you want? And with as little contact as possible, I'm just going to do my race and that's it. Although I am a racer, which means I want the fastest lap as possible, so I made a mistake going through Blanchimont and just about cut the track, which is again a very bad thing for the safety rating. And I am a little bit mad at myself at this point, but still should be good, should not be that much of a problem for the safety rating. It's one track cut, it's okay. Head back down and just do my thing. And first time going through Eau Rouge Radeon combination without a car in front. I realize this is the first time in this race, so I have a mini panic attack in my head. And of course I mess up and cut even more. And this time it's the second cut already for the safety rating. And now I'm beginning to be a little bit upset with myself. And I'm thinking, yeah, I need to calm down. I need to go back into the safety rating mindset, and that's just what I try to do. Just try to stick to my lines, look for the apexes, look for the exits, and that's it. I am building a healthy gap to the cars behind. There is almost no chance of an attack from behind unless I slip up and allow them to close, or slip up even more and allow them to slip past. So now I start taking a little bit more cautious lines, not to get any more track cuts. Make sure I stay between those white lines. But I can't help to notice, I am pulling up on P2. If I keep this up, and I also notice that P1 and P2 are fairly close, I am almost certain that I can maybe make up some more positions if they start fighting. Unfortunately, it seems like P2 is very cautious. It might be that P2 is a little bit quicker than P1 at this time, but it seems like he is taking it cautious and possibly here to farm safety rating as well. A little bit sideways through Radeon this time, but at least no track cut. And lose a little bit of speed, but not to worry. I have ample room behind, and I can afford a tiny mistake like this. Keeping it clean through Lake Home, and I am almost on the back of P2. And at this point I see P2 is sliding through Brussels, which means I'm taking P2, baby. Because another mistake like this from him, and I am definitely going to be on his rear bumper. And then maybe I can force him into a further mistake. And he is making more and more mistakes. He goes very wide through Pouan. and seems to be fighting the car a little bit on every corner. Which is of course perfect for me. He lost ground to P1 at this point and lost ground to me. As I make a mistake by double upshifting into 6th, quickly corrected back down to 5th. And just try to keep my head down and maybe gain a position before the end of the race. A little bit of wiggle from the car in front through bus stop, and I am on his rear bumper. At this point the car in front knows I'm here. And I try to stick to his slipstream through Radeon and maybe make another position this way. But I get all kinds of sideways through Radeon though. But luckily the 777 Aston in front has a moment going through there as well. Again, to the outside, my favorite overtaking point in this race, and the green Aston Martin opts to brake earlier. Something I observed through running behind him, that he is a little bit early on the brakes. So it gave me that little bit more of confidence that I can try and attack him. Now P1 in the front goes wide through Brussels, and I am on the back of him, and I'm thinking surely this can be P1 opportunity for me. I'm calm, I'm collected at this point, and yeah, just waiting to see how it unfolds. Not thinking about any aggressive moves or anything, just trying to keep it clean. Trying to keep it on track, and at the same time trying to keep up the pressure so that maybe the car in front will make a mistake. We have a bit of a tail wiggle through Stavilo 1, which means we are not gaining that much ground on P1 through Blanchimont. But still, show myself to the inside to maybe confuse the driver in front, and we are right on the tailpipes. Sorry, on the diffuser. Aston doesn't have tailpipes at the back. Notice he goes defensive and then moves back and totally misses his braking point, which allows me to slip through in La Source for P1. I am super excited, last to first. I'm in P1 finally for the first time, and I'm thinking surely this can't be my first race to win. And I see here that yeah, P2 has an excellent run through Radeon and is now in my slipstream. And at the last moment I see him pull out, which I anticipate what will come next is a lunge, and that it did, but he misses the corner completely. Then brakes checks me through the exit of Lecombe, but moves out of the way, probably because the sim told him to. Otherwise he would have gained a penalty. We're back in P1 and immediately start building a gap to P2. 2 laps to go, this one plus another one. We are almost home, and as soon as I see this gap extending, I am over the moon. Finally, P1 in LMU has come to me. Amazing stuff. And from being dead last on the field, no less. More than excited for myself. I'm just thinking one more lap, come on, one more lap. Hold it together for one more lap and it's in the bag. I know the car behind is a little bit lungy, but I am excited when I see the gap being this big And I'm thinking, yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way an attempt will be made. I'm thinking this is in the bag. If I keep it on the road, it's in the bag. Brake at my usual braking point for the bus stop. And at the last moment I see this and wham! Right in the rear bumper. P2 takes me out. I am absolutely fuming at this place. And I see him doing all sorts of crazy things. Almost takes out the new P1. But the damage is done to my car. I can barely hold the rear end in position. And I know this from the source, so when I'm approaching Radeon, I'm being extra cautious, going a little bit slower, but the damage is too much. Rear end steps away from me. P3 couldn't avoid me, collects me one more time, and I went from P1 back to almost last. Wait for the last couple of cars to move past and just cruise back home. Absolutely devastated and angry at the same time. Fuming, actually. In disbelief that some idiot would attempt a move like this. And to this day, as I'm watching these replays, I am still very much convinced that was an intentional takeout, and I am absolutely disgusted that such a thing still happens in sim racing. I understand that he was P1 and also didn't start from a very high up position and got through P1 through a little bit of confusion on lap 1, which is still respectable. A P1 is still a P1. And I understand you're a little bit frustrated when you lose P1 to someone who then comes back at you, especially if it's on almost the last lap. But yeah, this is just childlike behavior. Taking out someone because you lost to them is unacceptable in my eyes. I'm just nursing the car back home because the rear end is truly not drivable anymore. It wants to step out at every possible moment, even at lower speeds. It's just not possible to drive quicker, and it doesn't even matter because even what am I going to gain here? Go very slow through Blanchimont. Just the bus stop left, and I'm home. In, I believe it was P10 in the end. Almost lose it one final time. And this was my almost P1 that left me absolutely fuming in the end. In disbelief, I just reset the pits. Race done. And yeah, there we have it. A race where I thought that I would finally get my maiden Le Mans Ultimate win. Unfortunately, unfurled for me in the penultimate corner. I was left devastated, angry, and full of emotions right at the end there. Yeah, what can I say? In the end, it's racing, and yeah, would appreciate your thoughts on this. How would you have acted? Would you have anticipated this last lunge, or would you? But yeah, in my mind, like I said, I think it was an intentional takeout, and even if I had left a boatload of room on the inside, I think I would have gotten taken out at that point. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in an awesome battle in Le Mans Ultimate. Bye bye.